Sit down. Thank you very much.
Well, it's the second time I've seen the film, and if I didn't already know that you were such a beautiful human being, I'd have to hate you just a bit for making such an extraordinary first film, really. I mean, seriously, it's absolutely, really, I mean, on so many levels. It's so full of the art that conceals art. It's so perfectly crafted, from the first hard sound cut, from the ever-present cicadas, and you can smell the maquis in Corsica. I've been there and I've never seen that place evoked so immaculately, and I've never seen such a tender, beautifully loving portrait of the life of mafiosi. I mean, I don't think there's ever been one, and so I want to start with that, because you obviously have great love for this place and great love for these people, as well as an intimate understanding of them. So why don't you start there and talk to me about all of that? Good luck.
You have 3 hours. I mean, yeah, I was in this stage earlier to talk about that. The first idea came up when my wife, who's also the music composer of the film, AUDREY, just right here, told me that she was pregnant. Yeah. She's a great music composer, but she's an even greatest mom, She told me that she was pregnant 6 years ago, and it kind of, at this time I thought about what child I was going to have, what father I was going to try to be, and inevitably I thought also about the child I was and the parents I had. And a vivid memory came up when I was like 10 years old, and I was spending times with my father and some friend of his on the Corsican shore in a makeshift camp, just like the makeshift camp you see in the film. I mean, not just like, it was that makeshift camp, it was that place. And everything started here, so we needed to have it on the screen. And yeah, I mean, it was the perfect holidays, because we went fishing all day long. We were with all this makeup, cook, the kitchen, we slept under the stars, and it was the perfect life. And a few years later, I learned that this moment that I thought that it was just holidays, with your father, it was actually a totally different matter to him. He was living something totally different from what I was living. And from that, being an adult, I thought that maybe we could have a great story talking about a father and daughter who are on the run, trying to know, understand, and love each other, just like I told before, and trying to describe a filial relationship that tries to exist, to survive in a context where everything is dying.
So I noticed you didn't tell us more. I sense that you have far more connections, and your father had far more connections to this world than you were telling. But are you obeying the injunction that he gives his daughter? You never speak about this ever.
About the daughter?
Well, when the father tells her that you may never talk about this ever, are you obeying that injunction?
That's what we're doing right now.
Okay, well, sort of, yes.
That's the exercise.
Yes, okay, fair enough. I'll let you off with that one. you know, probably one of my all-time favorite films, a great masterpiece. I think Guillermo del Toro's greatest, Pan's Labyrinth. You know, and I would rate this film alongside that in terms of the astounding way it exfoliates a violent adult world through the eyes of a child. What made you choose a girl to tell that story?
Well, from the very beginning of the project, it was really obvious that I wanted to be on a child point of view. That was totally thrown in a very opaque, dark, adult male world. And yeah, it was obvious from the beginning that it had to be a girl for a drama potential, because even if the character is not too sexualized, I mean, to be totally honest with you, the story and the character and the dialogues would have been the same if we were talking about a little boy. But yeah, it has more strength for Jeanne, my co-author, Jeanne Herry, and I, to deal with a little girl. It would be, first of all, more surprising, and this contrast between this girl and all these men and all this masculinity, all this patriarchy, made sense for us. So yeah, that was, and probably also to take on my part some little insight, also to be able to create fiction and not trying to go on something biographical or autobiographical.
Yeah, but you still set it back in the period. It's not now. It is then. Was that a deliberate choice?
Yeah, that was also very present at the very beginning, that this story had to take place in the 90s. We set place in 95 because we had to decide at some point which precise
when
year.
there were still transistor radios
Yeah,
and things like that.
Between 83 and 85, it's not the same transistor, it's not the same cell phone.
Yeah.
So we had to fix a precise date. So we said 85. And yeah, it was really important for us. First of all, because that's the year I knew when I was a child and when I had Lesia's age. And also because it was a special time in Corsica in terms of, I mean, this decade, the 90s decade, was a decade very important in terms of the economical, social, and political future of Corsica. And there was a lot of stuff going on there. There was the nationalist war. We have such a very tight relationship with the French state. Also, there was the Accord de Matignon, for those who knows in France what it is. And there was the border between nationalists and let's say the mob weren't pretty blurred at this time. And you had connection between nationalists that went into business and the other one went into the underworld, the mob and the mafia. And at some point you didn't know who was who. And there was a lot of murders, but you didn't know where does the heat come from, you know, where does the death come from. So from what I wanted to tell in this story, which is the end of a reign, the end of the end of an era, that's what's going on throughout the film. And it was really, I mean, it made sense 100% to relate this decade. That was the perfect background for unfold this history.
Got it. Yeah. We have to talk about performance. You know, watching it for the first time, I thought, where have these people come from? Why have I never seen them? It felt like a world so fresh and so new, and I was astounded to discover